Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming back and tuning in.
We're back.
We are back. We are. Thanks for cutting me off.
No problem.
Thank you for coming back and tuning into another episode of Team Sessa Talks.
Do not adjust your sets.
So we've decided to switch sides. Does that mean we have to switch the graphic here?
No, your graphic here is closer for me to poke you in the eyeballs.
All right. Well, we'll discuss that off camera. But so today, my dad wants to talk about politics.
The federal election coming up.
We
So
got
exciting.
That's coming up on Monday, right?
It's coming up on Monday.
So now
Make sure you vote.
Yes, make sure you vote. But so tell me, Dad, why do you want to talk about politics?
I've been wanting to talk about politics ever since they announced the federal election, and you've always wanted to shy away from it. Your attitude is nothing good happens when we talk about politics.
Yes, I think
Politics and religion.
I think that's
the two topics you should always stay away from. But I got the inspiration from this weekend's Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, speaking of which, I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving.
We did right up until dinner.
We
So,
had an eventful
In our
Thanksgiving.
house, we had some family over for Thanksgiving dinner, and as we're getting ready to eat, we did our little prayer. We toasted. We all had a little chat of what we were thankful for. It's what we do every Thanksgiving, and then we started to eat. And I kind of lobbed, if you could picture a pack of hungry dogs in a room, and you throw in a steak in the middle and see what happens. Well, there was a whole bunch of us at the dinner table, and I kind of threw in conversation. Hey, who you voting for?
Which is always a mistake. Always a mistake, especially at family functions.
It was so much fun. Father and daughter
Fun for
are
who?
arguing and fighting. My wife is kicking me under the table saying, make them stop, make them stop. And I said, no, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. And it was so loud. There, like 4, 5, 6, 7 people talking over each other, yelling at each other. You're voting for that? Oh, are you crazy? Why are you voting for that person? You don't know nothing. And it was so much fun, but in a negative way. And my wife, again, kicking me under the table, make them stop, make them stop. And I just had to be like the big dog and just bark louder than everyone else to calm everybody down. And then we vowed no more politics. And we had a nice dinner after that.
Keep in mind, this is something that he did start himself.
On purpose.
So
On purpose.
Yeah, so that was our Thanksgiving. Hopefully, you guys had
So we had so much fun.
a bit more calm one. But yeah,
So we had so much fun. We're doing the politics topic today.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, we don't get bomb threats or anything. But
Yeah,
we got the
definitely
RCMP outside on standby in an
After-
undercover vehicle.
After our money laundering talk,
Yeah.
there's been a van parked outside for a while.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to talk about politics. We're going
Let's
to talk
do it.
about the upcoming election.
Let's do it.
Okay. And there's going to be a slant on real estate. There always is. And okay, so we ready to go?
Yeah. So okay, so let's start with this. Actually, there's so much going around because it's proven now that politicians say one thing, don't do what they say. So why even bother voting? Everything seems like it's the same.
Wow, that's a handful what you're saying there. Okay, so they say one thing and they do another. You're right. Can you believe anything a politician says? I don't know. There's a joke out there. How do you know when a politician is lying? When they open their mouth.
Yes.
So it's really hard, and you're right. It's so discouraging. They say one thing, they do something else, and we have examples of it over and over and over again. And you're right. Why vote? Well, it still doesn't matter. You still should vote. And well, let me ask you a question. If one of these political leaders, and I'll break down in a second about who's running and what's going on there, but if one of these people running for the prime minister's position was going to pass a law saying you're 26 years old, right?
Yeah.
So if they pass a law saying, and it wasn't a question. I know you're
Oh,
26.
okay. I was
It
gonna
wasn't a
say,
question.
you just had
It
the
was a
birthday.
rhetorical
Yeah.
question. They pass a law saying anybody under 27 years old is not allowed to vote. How would you feel?
I feel pretty upset.
It's
Yeah.
most people kind of take it for granted. It's
Yeah.
your right to vote.
Yeah.
And so there needs to be there's obviously some importance to it. You feel it's a right.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't vote, but it is your right. So if it was taken away from you, that would bother you.
Of course.
Okay? Well, there's lots of people that fought for your right to vote, first of all. So out of respect for that, there's a reason to vote. Lots of
Yeah.
people lost their lives for your right to vote. That's one. Not everybody in Canada is eligible to vote. Some are under the age. Some are not legal to vote. They're immigrants. They don't have their papers yet, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Some of them are just on working permits here. They're not allowed to vote. So there's that. The results affect you. I know your one vote doesn't make a big difference when you look at the millions of people that are voting. However, if everybody thought that way, nobody would vote.
Yeah.
Then, your vote
That'd
makes
be
a
a problem.
difference. But for the biggest reason, and it's more of a personal thing for me, I don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy.
What guy?
That guy.
What guy?
That guy that has an opinion on politics but never votes.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that guy that doesn't do anything about anything, makes no effort, but at the same time has an opinion how things should be run.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that guy. So if you want an opinion, if you want to have a conversation, it's just only makes sense, vote. Even if the person or the party you're voting for doesn't win, at least you can say, hey, I've done something about it. I voted, and the majority of people didn't vote with me. That's why this other person won. However, I voted. I do have an opinion. I do care what happens.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's like air. We take it for granted.
Yeah.
But if they take air away and you can't breathe, you miss it fast.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Okay, let's get into it.
All right.
We're not, for the sake, here's a disclaimer. We're trying hard not to choose sides, choose opinion. This is not to tell you who you should vote for. I'm not in any way saying one party is better than another. I'm fairly sure who I'm going to vote for based on what I've seen so far, but it's politics. Tomorrow we can see a headline on something else and everything changes.
Yeah.
That's how fickle it is. But I am going to talk about the four top parties in the polls. I'm not going to talk about some of the smaller or fringe parties. It's just not going to matter to us here.
Yeah.
So, Liberals are running. Ahead of the Liberals running for the Prime Minister position, Liberals have Justin Trudeau. The Conservatives are represented by Andrew Scheer. The NDP are represented by Jagmeet Singh. And the Green Party is represented by Elizabeth May. Okay? And I've actually I Googled just before this, the latest polls. Liberals and polls don't mean a lot. It's just more, it's fodder for, it makes you feel good if you're winning, and if you're not winning, you say, polls don't matter.
Yeah.
So, the Liberals are at 31%. Conservatives are at 32% of the votes out there. The NDP is at 17%. They've jumped way up.
Yeah.
And the Green Party's at 9%. So, Liberals and Conservative, 31%, 32%. That's pretty close. That's pretty close, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is really close.
Why are you smirking at me? Did I say something wrong?
I just want you to move closer to the microphone.
Oh, move closer to the
No,
mic.
just like speak into the mic.
What if I move the mic closer to me?
Yeah, you can do that. That works.
There we go. Okay. So that's what's going on. And, anybody could win. Anybody could win. You just
Dad.
don't know.
Sorry, can you speak into the microphone?
Oh, speak into the mic. Yeah.
Like-
So, you know what? This is, this thing moves over here. Okay. Okay. Next.
Continue.
Oh, okay. I'm glad we rehearsed this ahead of time.
Sorry, I'm just trying to... Okay.
Dad, why don't we talk about what everybody stands for. What are the issues, Dad? Okay, son, let me tell you what some of the issues are.
Okay, let's try that again. Dad, what are the issues?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, son. Let's talk about some of the issues. And, okay, so carbon pricing and the province is being taxed based on carbon pricing, right?
Yeah. What is carbon pricing, though?
I knew you were going to ask me
like,
what carbon, because nobody knows, son. It's a silly question. Nobody knows what carbon pricing is. Nobody understands it. Nobody knows.
So why
people think they know. And I mean, Trudeau, I'm not picking sides. Trudeau has put this carbon pricing together to eliminate carbon emissions and is taxing people on extra carbon emissions they're producing and is trying to, go green and be more effective with their green policy. And he's got 2 jumbo jets flying around with his campaign. And people said, you're so into this whole carbon taxing and pricing and trying to eliminate greenhouse emissions, and you're flying around with 2 jumbo jets. You know what his answer was?
What?
I paid the carbon tax on my second jumbo jet.
Don't worry, guys. I paid the tax.
I'm paid it, so it's all good.
That's funny.
Okay, so anyways.
So that's like me speeding. And then, don't worry, guys. I paid for the ticket.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I can speak because I paid for the ticket. Okay, so the Liberals introduced this year carbon pricing, and they're going to raise the tax from $20 a ton to $50 a ton by 2022. Don't ask me what that means. I don't know. Remember, nobody knows. So the Conservatives, they're completely against carbon pricing and will repeal it. So they're going to do the opposite of the Liberals. And they're going to use tax incentives, and they're going to punish the large industrial polluters. The NDP, they're going to cut rebates to the wealthy, and they're going to shift the tax burdens to industry. And they're going to spend $15 billion on a massive green overhaul.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, what they basically want to do is they want to go for public transportation. They want to go electric. For the federal buildings, they want to make them, I don't know, make them so they're more efficient and complete green overhaul. The Green Party, they think what everybody's doing is just not enough, and they're going to increase what the Liberals are doing, and they're going to spend more money than the NDP to go green.
More than 15 billion?
They're going to spend more. They're just, what everybody's doing is not enough. We're going to do more.
Oh, wow.
So they're all about, well, the name of the party is
Green Party.
The Green Party. So they're going to do
That would
more.
make sense.
Here's another controversial issue, the pipelines. So the Liberals, Trudeau, to persuade Alberta to back carbon pricing, Trudeau, the Liberals, they bought the Trans Mountain pipeline for $4.5 billion, and they're pushing to get it approved. But there's many, including many people in BC, but there's many First Nations that oppose it. And many say it goes against our climate goals. Okay, so the Conservatives, they support this, the whole idea of the Trans Mountain pipeline. Now, the Conservatives, there's not too many things they support that the Liberals are doing.
Yeah.
But the Conservatives say, yeah, we like the idea of you buying this. However, you're not doing enough. The Conservatives will pass laws to actually push the approval process through so everything goes quicker and it gets built sooner. So they're saying you're not doing enough. You should have bought 2 pipelines. NDP, they're going to scrap it altogether.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's big differences here in what people want. They're going to scrap it.
It's already started, no? They're just going to...
I believe so. I believe so in certain parts, but there's other parts that are not approved.
Yeah.
But now it's owned by the government, by the federal government, so they're saying, hey, we own it, we're going to put this through. But the NDP is saying, we're going to scrap it. And they're going to end subsidies to any fossil fuel companies. So gas, oil, coals, all that, they're going to end it. They're going to shift to fully electric public transit, and they're going to give incentives to zero-emission vehicles. Remember when there used to be incentives for Tesla, and then they took it away? So they're looking to introduce
more rebates and stuff like that.
Rebates and incentives, yeah. The Greens, They would also cancel the pipeline. And they're going to work towards, listen to this, the Greens are going to work towards phasing out all oil and gas operations by 2030. So the oil sands, the exploration's going on, they're going to say anybody involved in oil and gas operations by 2030, we're shutting you down.
Then doesn't that mean we're just going to have to import everything?
It probably does. But, I want to get elected and then we'll figure it out later. It's kind of the attitude a lot of. We want to say things that we think people are liking.
Yeah.
Okay? But some of the things she's saying, it's obviously not to get elected.
not picking sides. Not picking sides.
Yeah. Now, this lady, Elizabeth May, at one of the Trans Mountain Pipeline protests a few years ago, she was arrested. That's how strongly her party is against this whole pipeline. She actually got arrested. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so moving on to other topics. I hope you find this interesting because if you're not, well, that's probably politics too. Sometimes we feel it's boring, but when you take a second to actually understand what's going on, very differences in who you vote for and who you give the power to can really make a difference. Let's talk about taxes. The Liberals will eliminate tax bracket for the high earners and will increase taxes for large companies. Actually, I should say when I say what they're going to do, I should say that this is what they're saying they're going to do. The Liberals have been in power for 4 years. The Conservatives were in power before them under Harper. Nobody did any of this stuff, but during campaigning, they're all telling you what they're going to do, right? So they're going to eliminate tax brackets for high earners and they're going to increase taxes to large companies. They're going to keep the country in a deficit and there's no timeline for balancing the budget.
But the budget will balance itself.
The budget will balance itself. The Conservatives, as far as taxes go, they're going to put in a universal tax cut. So they're going to reduce taxes for everybody. And they're going to reduce taxes even more on the low-income earners. They're going to give tax credits for transit, for children that are involved in arts and sports, and they're going to balance the budget in 5 years.
That doesn't sound bad.
Yeah.
If it happens.
But it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay? So the NDP, they're going to avoid broad tax cuts like the Liberals and Conservatives would do. They've got a new deal for tax fairness. So they're going to raise taxes for corporations, and they're going to tax by 1% more the wealthiest of Canadians. They're going to tax wealth over $20 million by 1% more.
$20 million, so 1% of that, what is that, 200,000?
200,000.
I wonder how many people are in that bracket. That doesn't sound like too much.
We're not.
Yeah. No.
I wish we were paying 1% more because we'd be in a 20 million bracket. We're not in the 20 million bracket. We've got about...
It just doesn't sound like that. I mean, I don't know how many people are in that bracket, but it just doesn't sound like it would make that much of a difference.
I don't know. I have no idea how many Canadians have wealth over 20 million where it would make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
The Greens, well, their attitude is you're not doing enough. They're basically going to be more aggressive than the NDP, and they're not doing any changes to personal tax rates.
Oh, wow.
But they're going to be more aggressive than the NDP.
They're also the ones that are going to spend more than the NDP for the...
They're going to spend more. They're not going to have more coming in. I don't know. It's creative math. It's Halloween's coming up. It's magic math. I don't know. You heard of Magic Mike? This is magic math.
Oh, man.
Pharmacare. You hear people talking about pharmacare. They've been talking about pharmacare for years and years and years and years. And just when you thought they were done, it's every election it's a topic. But now more so than ever. So the Liberals, they sort of embrace it, but they're not fully committed to pharmacare. So pharmacare is basically reduced drug prices. You know, when you go to the doctor, they give you a prescription, reduced drug prices or free drugs for us, kind of like our medical right now. You know, we pay into the tax system and we get hospitalization, medical care, right? Well, that's what they're talking about, pharmacare. So liberals, they sort of embrace it, but they're not fully committed. Conservatives, they have opposed it in the past. But now they see the public likes this idea. So they're not so opposed to it anymore. But they were in the past. They no, this is crazy.
Boy.
But they've pledged to work with provinces to reduce the cost of drugs. So they're saying, yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll work with the provinces. But there's no commitment. Yeah. The NDP, they're all in. And they're going to make it happen by the end of 2020. So in a year from now, the end of next year, they're going to have something in place. And they've promised to spend $10 billion in their first year of federal money.
Wow.
Of our money. Yeah. So the NDP is all in. The Greens, like the NDP, they're all in. But they say the federal government would pay for it all. So the NDP's thinking, we're going to reduce prices. We're going to make it cheaper to buy. We're going to give you choices. We're going to give you a cheaper choice. And we're going to have to invest $10 billion.
Yeah.
Green is saying, we're going to pay for it all. And we're going to spend $27 billion the first year.
First year.
Yes. Oh, and they'll spend more after that.
But where is all this money? I just don't I don't want to seem like I'm picking sides or not picking a side.
It's kind of hard, eh?
But it's just very difficult to understand these promises.
Are we going to rumble, you and I? Are we going to rumble here on live TV?
It's just really hard to understand how they're going to come up with the money for some of these things that they're saying.
And they're just spewing this information out there.
All right, so I guess we know who you're not voting for.
Well, no, I'm saying this about all of them.
Yeah,
they're just spewing information out there, and there's no bullshit meter. Oh, can I say that? Well, it's our podcast. We can say whatever we want. Yeah. You know how you have a censor meter when somebody swears. There should be an automatic button that comes up on TV or radio when a politician says something that can't be done or straight out isn't true. Yeah. There should be like bullshit popping up on the screen. And you would see that more than you would actually hear the speeches because half the stuff they're saying is crazy. Okay, so housing. Here's a housing issue. Oh, we're going to get into real estate stuff.
Now we get back to the stuff that
we're going to get into real estate stuff. The Liberals are going to the Liberals are the ones that introduced the stress test. They introduced the stress test in 2018.
Oh, sorry, Dad, I have to cut you off there. What was that?
That was a growl.
Is that your stress noise?
They were stressed. The Liberals stressed everybody out with the stress test.
That's funny.
And they plan on keeping it. They added the first-time buyer incentive, which helps nobody in the GTA here. Might help somebody in Timbuktu Maritime somewhere. Or that
was the one they recently added, where purchase of under 400 or something.
Yeah, and if you're earning under this amount, they're going to lend you, and you could buy up to, I don't know, 400,000 something. So it really helps nobody here. But it was
because you couldn't find any properties for that price.
Right. And if you could, the buyers are earning more than the minimum or the maximum they say. You just really, there's not too many people that qualify here. But it was ear candy to announce. It was like, wow.
Well, it sounded great. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. Other parts of the country will benefit from this.
Yeah.
They're going to crack down also on financial crimes in real estate. All of a sudden.
Finally.
All of a sudden, they're going to think, hey, this is a problem.
It's a good thing we gave them the names of the people that they should go after in the money laundering episode.
They must have watched our last episode. So the Conservatives, their plan for housing is they're going to increase the amortization period from 25 to 30 years. So basically, the Conservatives are saying, we're going to lower your monthly payments, but you're going to pay more for the property.
Yeah. So they're not. But okay, sorry. Continue.
And they're going to, and this is, I quote, they're going to fix they're going to fix the stress test.
How?
They don't say.
Oh, okay.
But they say it's not right, and we're going to fix it.
All right.
But they don't say how.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Clear.
Sure.
Clear as mud.
Yeah.
Clear as mud.
Clear as mud. Exactly.
Okay. So the NDP. Their solution to housing is they're going to create 500,000 affordable housing units over 10 years. and they're going to increase the foreign buyers tax.
Now, I hope I don't think it's too off topic, but like the foreign buyers tax, has it actually prevented foreign buyers from coming in and purchasing properties that we would be
Maybe some.
competing with?
Maybe.
Do you know if it's actually had an effect?
My gut is telling me no.
Yeah.
But maybe some.
I imagine on a small scale.
Oh,
I can't imagine it did
it's
anything.
minuscule. The problem is perception.
Yeah.
And the public thinks if somebody looks not like them.
Yeah.
So if the public sees, say an Asian person, oh, he's a foreign buyer.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is what
yeah.
I see on the
That's true.
street. You know, there's an offer put on. Who bought the house? Oh, it was an Indian family. It was a Chinese family. It was a Russian family. They go, oh, foreign buyers.
Yeah.
But these are Canadians. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
foreign buyers.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And
that
there's
makes
so
sense.
many actual, not loopholes, but there's so many rules to the foreign buyer. So if you're a student here, your parents buy you a house. You're a foreigner. Your parents buy you a house to live in while you're studying.
Yeah.
If you, after your studies, get a job, work here, and stay here, well, you'll get reimbursed that tax that you paid.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's so many different rules.
Yeah.
That's another topic, another conversation. But
I was just curious because I know they implemented that and they thought it was going to make a big dent in the foreign buyers, but I don't think it really did anything.
no, didn't do much. Didn't do much.
Okay, sorry.
No.
Continue.
So the NDP again will create 500,000 affordable housing units. I don't know who's going to build these.
Where?
Any of these situations where we're going to build them cheaper, we're going to keep the rents low, somehow they always leave out the builders that are going to build these.
Yeah.
And the builders, they're not going to build anything unless they can make a ton of money.
Yeah.
So who's going to build these?
No idea, Dad.
What incentives are they going to do? Like, I don't know. Anyways, the Green, they're going to create, this is smart actually. The Green Party's attitude is we're going to create a federal housing minister, and they're going to tailor housing solutions to each province.
I'm surprised we didn't have something like
Well,
that
it kind
already.
of makes sense, right? Because
Yeah.
what works in Ontario is very different than what, say, the Maritimes or
Yeah.
Nova Scotia, New Brunswick needs are, which is different than what Alberta's needs are. Housing is so different across the country.
I'm really surprised we didn't have something like that already.
Yeah, but they're going to have a dedicated minister, and he's going to tailor solutions. He or she will tailor solutions to each province. That's a good idea.
That is.
Other parties, whoever wins, you should look at this because it makes sense. The problem is, whatever any other party comes up that's good, no party ever says, that's a good idea, we like
Yeah.
it. We would do that too.
Yeah.
They don't say that. They just automatically take another side. The Greens are also going to eliminate the first-time buyer grant.
And that's for the land transfer tax, correct?
I'm not sure. I believe so.
I think that's for the land transfer tax.
I
if I'm
believe
not
so.
mistaken.
It's not always clear. You can go on each party's platform, read some of these. It's not always clear. So here's something else that affects housing. Immigration. What are the immigration policies? So the Liberals, they're going to take 350,000 immigrants. They're going to bring in 350,000 immigrants by 2021, which is up from 310,000 in 2018. And they're going to move forward with responsible increases to immigration. Trudeau, on a lot of fronts, has been getting hammered with, you're letting too many people in. The Americans don't want you. Come to us, we'll take you.
Yeah.
You've heard that, right? Well, now he's saying we're going to move forward with more responsible increases to immigration. What that means, nobody knows. The Conservatives, they say that immigration will be consistent with what is in Canada's best interest. What does that mean?
That's even more vague than the last one.
Very vague. NDP, they've put no number, and they say that immigration should match Canada's labor needs.
That sounds problematic.
Well, what about the housing needs? What
Yeah.
about medical needs to take care of these people? What about social assistance needs to take care of these people? It's not just labor needs. There's a whole infrastructure supporting these people. The Greens, they would increase immigration overall, and they would make it easier for professionals that are immigrating here to access their credentials here so they can do the work they were trained to do quicker, sooner, faster.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, no, that
assuming
sounds
they
good.
have the proper credentials.
Yeah.
How they check that, I don't know, because in many countries you can buy a lawyer's license, you can buy a doctor's license, who knows, right? We don't have any control what happens outside of our borders. So, but immigration is a big, big factor because it puts, I mean, especially living where we are in the GTA,
Yeah.
more people that come into Canada, they go to where the jobs are.
Yeah.
And the GTA is a hub for attracting immigration. We get the lion's share of immigrants wanting to come here. And that puts pressure on housing, both rental and purchasing. It puts pressure there. It puts pressure on our infrastructure. It puts pressure on public transportation. These people don't show up with cars. It puts pressure on everything, medical, social assistance, everything.
Yeah.
And housing prices are affected mostly by supply and demand. Well, by having more people coming in, we're increasing the demand.
Yeah.
Supply is being lowered because more people are buying, right? So that can only mean prices would go up,
Oh my.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so last topic I want to talk about, gun control.
Oh.
Big topic. Big topic, especially with all the shootings going on.
Yeah.
The Liberals, well, it's kind of unclear what their plan is for gun control. Ooh and ah, and anyways, it's unclear, but they're banning assault rifles. Yeah, so any of your buddies that have assault rifles, they're going to get banned.
Banning legal guns.
Okay.
No.
Conservatives, well, assault rifles are already illegal. And we don't have too many shootings. I don't know of any where they're walking down the street with assault rifles shooting people.
Yeah.
But they're going to ban them.
That's good.
Conservatives. Andrew Scheer is the only leader right now who owns guns, by the way.
So what's he saying about these?
Well, he's going to propose new mandatory sentences for gun and gang related crimes. And there's going to be a lifetime ban on owning guns for violent offenders.
Well, that makes sense. That sounds smart.
But why is it happening? Like,
Yeah.
it hasn't even happened yet. But why are they only talking about this now? Okay,
Yeah,
so
there should have been
you're a
something.
violent offender. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't allow you to own a gun.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. The violent offender that has an issue with shooting people, you think he's walking in, filling out an application at the gun shop to buy a gun? They're buying him illegal.
Yeah.
The NDP, they pledge to do something about illegal weapons.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, you hear the crickets?
Yeah.
That's what everybody, what does that mean?
I'll see if I can insert them in here.
What does that mean? And Green Party has proposed a buyback program. Sorry, I can't help but laugh. Buyback program. And we'll do something about weapon smuggling. Finally, somebody's talking about weapons smuggling.
Yeah.
The government knows in most cases where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to deal with the First Nations Reserve, where a lot of these things are coming through. But somebody has to do something about it. But they proposed a buyback program.
See, the buybacks programs always make me laugh. Can I tell you why? Because
They make the criminals laugh too.
Every time I look at the buyback program, every time I see it on the news and they show a picture of all the guns they've collected, you got like an 1820 musket.
Yeah. Fully loaded.
That someone got $200-$300 for.
With the beaver pelts beside it.
Yeah, literally. It's all these old. It's all old guns, but that's the issue. We're not addressing the illegal guns.
They're not talking about the illegal guns.
The
That's the problem. That's
the
what's
legal
shooting.
guns
That's
are
what's
not
killing
the problem.
people.
The legal guns are not the issue.
Yeah.
And like I don't know. I for me personally, I don't think it's anyone should be owning an assault rifle, whether legal or illegal. But
Right, I agree.
it just doesn't make sense to enforce a ban on legal guns. How many of these issues are happening because of legal guns?
Not many. And it's already illegal to do the things that are happening.
And
It's
yeah,
illegal to own an illegal weapon, but they're not going after that.
Exactly, and it's these people are shooting, like they're committing crimes. They're not worried about a charge for carrying an illegal gun.
No.
You know what I mean? It's
No.
just,
And
it doesn't make sense.
they get caught. They get out on bail
Slap on the wrist.
fairly
Gone,
quickly.
yeah.
Oh, it's your first offense.
Yeah.
And they're out to do what? A lot of these, you hear it in the news. A lot of these people that are caught doing gang-related stuff, they're doing it while they're out on bail.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So lock them up, throw away the
Well, that's why
keys, shoot him if you have to. I know
okay.
that's controversial.
That's aggressive. But no. But the mandatory minimum sentence makes sense.
For sure it does.
That makes sense. I don't understand why it's something that they have to advertise as, vote for me because of this. It just sounds
Logical.
It sounds
Everybody
logical.
should be doing it.
Exactly.
You have a gun, that's it. No questions asked. Oh, I needed to have a gun because
Yeah.
I'm in a gang. Oh, then that makes sense. We'll
Yeah.
excuse you. Of course you got to have a gun, you're in a gang. Well, you know what? It's criminal. It's wrong. That's the minimum. No questions asked.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the minimum. And the minimum can't be, 2 weeks. It's got to be a serious minimum.
It's got to be enough to make them
You know.
understand that it's not something you can do, right?
I agree. But these are the issues. This is what's written on these political parties' platforms.
Yeah.
Then you have these other leaders out there, Maxime Bernier, and I'm not even going to get into all these other people.
Mhm.
It can be confusing. I know it's discouraging because you almost know it doesn't matter what they say.
Yeah.
They're just trying to be elected. They're out there shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah.
But it can be, it just doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't.
But you still need to vote.
Yeah.
You still need to vote because there are fundamental differences with each of the parties, as I've just explained.
Yeah.
And
you can see the effects that'll have on you,
for sure.
right?
What if somebody decides to do triple immigration? You think you got issues with home prices now?
Yeah.
Triple immigration, most of them are coming here to
Yeah.
the GTA. Values go up just because supply and demand.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, no rumbling, no
Yeah.
fighting. Hopefully we don't get any bomb threats.
Oh boy. Well, yeah, that's it for today, I guess.
Don't forget to vote on Monday and have a great day.
Yes, thanks for tuning in again. We like I always say, you can find this the video version on YouTube. You can find the audio version on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and just about anywhere else where you can go get your podcasts. And yeah, we'll be back next week for another episode. Thanks again.
Ciao. Bye-bye.